It's the TalkOver. How you doing, Adrian? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing okay. I was going to throw out there, this is where the action is the juice. But tonight, we're going to slow it down just a little bit. We're going to do something that's probably a bad idea. From the very beginning of the
Love it.
Talkover, well,
That's all I do.
it's just bad ideas. Perfect.
Just
Well,
bad ideas.
tonight we're going to watch a documentary, and it's kind of hard to talk over a documentary because documentaries are a lot of talking, but this is not your average documentary. I wanted to have Adrian on the show tonight because Adrian and I have a very interesting movie history together. I was thinking about this today. Do you remember making a pilgrimage over to Leeds just to watch what is it called? My brain's gone. Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day. Do you remember this?
I think so. Yeah. I
We,
remember going with you to see the Tron movie, but
yep, Tron Legacy and
off
IMAX.
topic. I have pictures that still come up in my phone memories, and it's like just this one little poster of like the Tron poster on this like neon green wall where the hell that theater was.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I remember seeing all Boondocks too for sure.
Me, and Bo were the only people that cared enough to drive an hour to see that movie, and it was fantastic. We also saw Human Centipede together, drunker than I'd ever been in a long time, and I slowly over the next day just remembered flashes of Human Centipede. Joaquin Phoenix is right. You can't unsee some things, and we've had a very interesting movie history. If I were to ask you to describe to a court of law what is Crazy Tape, what would you have to say about that?
No comment.
It's probably well, it's past the 7 years. We're okay. I've been grabbing cameras and bothering my friends to get on them since I was in high school. I wasn't waiting for YouTube. YouTube was waiting for me. I just saw the Deadpool trailer. So I'm like YouTube Jesus. I'm not going to say that. We'll stop just short of that. But we used
It
to.
was kind of before YouTube though.
It was way before YouTube. And we're talking about the early 2000s, which this movie we're going to watch tonight is from that time period. But the other reason that I wanted to do this episode is because this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about filmmaking. I want to talk about movies. This is a church of movies. We come to worship at the bright screen that's above us. And Adrian has jumped headfirst into the time-honored tradition of content creating. He's taken a lot of the skills that he's learned over the years and decided just to pile on, I don't know, about 1,000 more skills and a lot more stresses and a lot more harm to your wallet. And we were
More
talking
stress than skill right now.
Oh man, well that's the thing. That's what we were talking about is you have to get in there, you have to cut your teeth. And I almost said you have to be like Mark Borchardt. And it occurred to me there's no way in perfect hell I can explain who Mark Borchardt is. I was like, you need to come on the Talkover and we need to watch American Movie. Many lifetimes ago, I tried to make a full-length feature film, and it damn near ruined my life. But during that time, a lovely man named Todd said, you should check out American Movie. It's got a weird cover to it. And of course, I saw it 1,000 times working at the Blockbuster, but I never rented it. Back then, documentaries were Michael Moore going on about problems in the U.S. or some guy eating McDonald's for 30 days straight. Documentaries weren't slice of life movies like they are now. And this was in 1999, but obviously it would have taken a few years to get there. I see the movie, I take it immediately to my friends that we're making a movie with, and I'm like, as long as we don't be like Mark Borchardt, we should be fine. This documentary is maybe about one of the worst filmmakers ever, but I kept living my life and I found myself in Madison, Wisconsin. American Movie is set a lot further north than here. There's some parts that are in Milwaukee, near Green Bay and things like that. I never thought I would be in Wisconsin. There's a very big difference between Madison and Wisconsin. But as soon as I was moving up here, I said, I should try to find Mark Borchardt because he was this mythical creature, this unicorn I've been talking about for so long. And fast forward with side story, real funny story. I met a couple of people with the last name Borchardt when I got up here, and I was like, are you related to Mark? And they were like, I know who that is. No, we're not really. Like they were tired of answering that question. So
they probably were. They were just like, no.
At that time, yes, but in 2017, I was marking up my film list for the Wisconsin Film Festival, my favorite things to do here in Madison, and there was a movie called The Dundee Project. It's a documentary, and it's about a bunch of weirdos that go to a field and wait for an alien because one guy a long time ago said he saw an alien there, and it was directed by Mark Borchardt. I'm looking at the paper, and it's saying the man's name that I have said a million times. I had to go see this thing. He sold out the Barrymore Theater on a Wednesday night, a very, very old theater theater here. East Side is so cool. I can't even live over there. And he sold this thing out. He stayed around. He did a Q&A at the end of it, and not a single this was a packed, there were people standing to watch this movie. When they were done, they asked him questions about it. Not a single person asked him a question about American Movie, not the movie that makes him look like a huge fucking idiot. Nobody asked him about it. They asked him about the movie that he made and he showed and he sold a room out for. Mark Borchardt is no longer a glass floor. Mark Borchardt is not a mantra for not failing. That's a mantra for success. You have to keep trying. You have to keep iterating. That's what I keep telling you guys. That's what I'm preaching at you at our movie church. And Adrian has jumped headfirst into that. Go over and check out Beard and Board on YouTube, at Beard and Board. He's got his first video up where he's cooking, and he makes a very hard dish look very easy to cook. It's got a good flavor to it. It's got a good interest in the channel, and he's starting out. So go give us some love, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and go check it out. His next video is on its way. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is when you have that fire, when you have that passion, you have an idea in your head that's going to eat its way out, or you got to put it on the screen, you go into debt, you bother all your friends, you almost get fired, but you just make the damn thing and fail and look like an asshole while you're doing it. But at the end of the day, you have this wonderful little piece of light that everybody can gather around and enjoy. And it started here with this movie, American Movie. Thank you, Adrian, for joining me tonight. Thank you so much. We got Aaron in the chat. We got Steve in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody. I expect no one to watch this. It's a very hard one to find. So it's not on anything streaming. You can rent it over on Amazon. Save your Bezos bucks. Do the extra long delivery so you get $1.50 back. Steven's leaving. Okay, great. He knows he knew this was coming up. Now I've run everybody out of here. Now I said it's not going to be any fun. This movie's amazing. Everyone should check it out. So go ahead and cue it up, because in a moment, I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, go. We're all going to be a bunch of Fonzies, and click go, one, go. I'm going to put a timer up on the screen. That way we can stay synced up. We'll take a break at the hour mark so we can talk for a little bit. I'll put up a timer. It's the 5P timer. Spoilers, it's longer than 5 minutes, so we can do the 5 Ps for personal time, PPs, and poo-poos. We'll come back. We'll talk. We'll finish up the movie. And that's it. That's the talk over, baby. Adrian, are you ready?
All right.
What are your thoughts about this, that you, from what little you know so far, what are your thoughts on this?
So I do know very little. I've purposely not looked into it, so I'm completely blind on it.
Good.
But kind of what you just touched on, kind of dipping into filming and editing and things of that nature, all the audio, everything that goes into it. I'm interested. I'm interested to see like what, one man tried to do to get a movie made, because that's kind of what's going on here. That's what's going on over on my channel. You're more experienced than I am. I'm just I mean, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. I was not ready for the amount of work that goes into it. So yeah,
See,
I'm very excited to see what goes on.
You definitely did the hard work and the labor, and the thing is, what transfers through is the love and the passion for it. And as long as you got that, you'll keep going. And that's what my point was. The fact that you did it is the big part. Robert Rodriguez says at the beginning of his book, Rebel Without a Crew, if you want to be a filmmaker and you're deciding to be a filmmaker, you can go ahead and call yourself a filmmaker. Make business cards. That's all it takes. Mark definitely is, and you didn't do anything as silly as Mark's about to do in this movie right here. I'm so excited for you to see this. Oh my goodness. But you hit the nail on the head, man. It's a huge world, and it's cruel and it's evil. You'll spend days in the woods getting eaten by bugs to not have recorded anything. You'll forget your batteries. The lens cap's gonna get lost in somebody's cargo pocket. You didn't get any food for your extras. You got one poor kid that's about to pass out, but damn it, you're going to get that 5-minute film for that 5-minute contest at a bar. You're going to get that free personal pan pizza. You're going to get across the finish line. That's what we're going to do tonight, baby. So, all right, that's it. That's all the stuff. I'm going to get my stuff queued up. And where is it? I do this every single time. All right, you ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. It's going. I'm surprised with this being like a Sony Pictures, like probably one of their smaller purchases. I'm surprised they don't have this on HBO more often. Sure, Mark would sell it for a song.
Oh wow, this documentary is rated R.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, it's snowing right now in Wisconsin. It was 60 degrees this morning. It's snowing right now.
Oh wow, it's 70, and I've been running the AC.
Sheesh. Oh man, little tip. I'm using this on the PlayStation. If you try and change your volume in your headset when it's on YouTube, it stops the video. Amazon doesn't. Thank you, Daddy Bezos.
Hmm.
Oh, this guy. It's like a double John Waters, or is it John Waters? Mustache.
I was about to say, you think I'd look good with that mustache?
Yes. Trim the top. Look at that laptop.
Oh my God.
Little Smith Corona word processor.
Wow.
Look at his hair. It's the best hockey hair.
Wood paneling. He's inside of an RV. Okay.
Yeah. I think there's something about him. He might be living in this RV at this time.
Probably. That's what I was wondering.
I mean, does it sound familiar? Making something about movies and bothering all your friends to join in. What could be more American than that? This is the TalkOver, baby.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Those glasses are actually... Oh my God, it's Mike. I forgot about Mike. Okay, R.I.P. Mike has passed away. He passed away in 2022.
Okay.
But
I was actually thinking there's an actor that looks like this guy. He was in that Tanya Harding
the
movie with
the friend that's like always squinting.
Well, he was the guy that was like the hitman.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love I, Tanya. Hey, there's a sock on that
mic.
What is the sock? It's a pop filter for popping P's and hissing S's.
Right. Suddenly I feel really good about all my technology.
I'm telling you, baby, this is it. I also forgot the movie's a square. Oh, this guy was like their one real act. When you're making an independent film, you got to find one sort of real actor. This is theirs. This guy. He has everything he owns in that pocket.
Obviously.
I double socked that one.
Right. What is this? Mic. A deer pelt on the wall.
You got to do what you got to do, man. I'm trying to think of what the jankiest thing that we did. You can get free wheel. I can't believe I'm saying this. You can get free wheelchairs in most cities. There's usually an access program where it's like paid for by donations. So if you need a wheelchair or crutches or something, you don't have the insurance, you can usually find them. Meaning that if you need a wheelchair to make a dolly, you can get one for free. You just have to lie about a couple of things. One could do that, is what I'm saying. This is my favorite part of this whole movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
Scariest thing imaginable.
Uh-huh.
As a business owner, I'm all the time getting letters from the IRS. It's usually never anything bad, but it's always terrifying.
That sucks. Yeah, it's got to be a whole other level.
Right, you just hate to see it.
Look at all these filmmaking books. Oh, no. All of his pens are in a Campbell's soup can. I just noticed that.
I was busy looking at this retro Nike shirt he's got on.
Yeah, retro. This was brand ass new.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That shirt has been through the wash a few times.
Look at this. Do you see what I mean? Go into debt, ruin your life, make the fucking movie, man.
Not about movies, but I've been there.
You have been there. You
I'm taking the lead.
You have the fire, man. You know.
Well, appreciate it.
His poor mom's like, I've heard this so many goddamn times.
Oh, that's his mom.
I think it's his mom. Might be his stepmom.
Somebody was selling puppies.
Menominee, where they're from. Menominee. Boop, boo, ba doo, boo. They have the funniest town names up here. I love them. And she's like super German.
Right?
His brother. If there's one person that's ready to jump out of a building for having to hear about Mark Borchardt making movies, it's got to be that man. This guy's rocking the Hooters shirt, baby. These guys are party animals. I've had days where we've invited strangers and talked to them about what we were going to make, and it's always like this. Nobody knows what they're in for. Like who shows up for these things? Who's willing to do it? And who's willing to run it? It's all, this guy scares me, not him. The other smiling man. But he also has a passion. He has a secret passion we'll talk about later. I am a little sad I never learned like film processing. I mean, it goes in there with all the other skills I learned that are not. Oh my God, hang on. Mike's talking. Dude, Mike was cool looking. Look at him.
Yeah, that's cool.
The hair, man.
Right?
This is pretty good, right? I
Yeah,
mean, for
it's
kids,
as good as any other like slasher in the day.
Yeah, man.
Right?
It's
Look just
equally
like
as well
Friday
made as
the 13th, man.
it's equally as well made as Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This past Halloween, I watched every Friday the 13th movie, and a bunch of them are super bad. They're terrible.
Oh my God, they are. It's the one, the Friday the 13th are the ones I go back to for the big horror franchises just because they're so bonkers. They're so fucking bananas.
It's out, yeah.
Like Halloween's are actually
sense.
like well-made movies. I have no use for that. I don't need to.
Oh.
Carpenter is such a good, or no, Wes Craven is such a good. Was it Carpenter or was it Craven? It's Wes Craven, right?
If you hadn't said them both, I probably would have known. But now I'm like, I feel like it's John Carpenter.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
My
get fired
wife
from
would know, but
Blockbuster
I
all
don't want
over
to yell
again.
across the house.
Han, could you bring
Right?
up the IMDb?
She wouldn't have to bring it in. She knows.
I was talking to my dad this morning, and he was like, "What's gonna be on the show?" I said, "What's American movie?" And he's like, he's like, "Is it a horror movie?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Well, I don't like horror movies." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's not a horror movie." And he goes, "What's it about?" And I go, "It's a documentary." He goes, "What's the documentary about?" And I said, "It's about a guy making a movie." And he goes, "What's that movie about?" I go, "It's a horror film." God damn it! You got me.
He knew. He knew.
You got me. Can you see the crazy eyes he's got?
A little bit through those glasses, yeah.
They should be even bigger.
I'm focused on that like center thing in the glasses there.
That camera. That's always. Oh, this is the guy that like he's got a secret passion. This man. Also, too, everybody's very, they act very odd. I do want to point out something. So this would have been 95, 96, 97, something like that. All these scenes we're watching. Nobody had a camera on their phone then. Nobody had a Facebook, a MySpace. Nobody was putting pictures of themselves online 24/7. Nobody was getting on a live stream to yak over some shit. So people were not used to talking on camera back then. We as a society have changed very much thanks to the smartphone.
Right. I'm still not quite on board with all of that, all the shift to video and, you know, like I've never like gone live for my business or anything like that.
You should.
Everybody tells you to. I know. See, everybody's like, you should do that. And I'm like, I'm okay.
Do it. Like he's showing them how to do this thing. You do it one day when you're in a silly mood. Do it when you don't give a shit, you know? Just be like, we're goofing off here at the truck today, man. It's slow. Y'all should come out and get something, man. Come see us. Like
Bro,
just, that's what I would do.
If it's ever slow, I just go home, man. I'm either working or I'm going home.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right?
This is one of those things. I used to do shit like this. Not this, but he goes out there so to be alone to write.
Just sitting in the car.
Yeah.
I got some
How?
gloves just like that.
Yeah. It's good gloves. Working man's gloves. I love his accent. I love the Midwestern accent so much. There's a couple of people I know up here that I can tell when they get older, they'll have the old man Midwestern accent. Like if you ever see Making a Murderer, Steve Avery's dad has like the best old man Midwestern accent. It's like, I threw it into fire. Like it's just got such a great. He sounds like he's a hockey dad. It sounds amazing. Yeah, I wonder what the documentary was shot on. I think it's probably 16 mil. There's a lot of artifacting, which is cool, actually.
Okay.
This is his the older guy is his primary financier.
Oh,
Yeah, told you, man. You got to do some scroungy stuff to get money to make a movie.
oh yeah.
This is pitch meeting.
Yeah, I've done this, but
That
I know.
what have you had to pitch before if you feel like sharing?
Oh, I mean, starting a food truck, I had to the first time we rolled out a food truck. I mean, we had to pitch it to the bank, like do the whole
Oh yeah.
business plan.
Wait, you have to
Had to do
like
all
it's
these
Shark Tank at the
numbers.
bank? Really? You have to do that?
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
Like I've probably still got I got a whole business plan of like numbers and just all kinds of things. I did food cost and average ticket prices and how many tickets we'd have to sell a day to get a certain number to pay everything and have money to live and all that stuff, along with all the research about food trucks and the trendiness and how the industry is growing and stuff like that.
How you plan on paying their money back to them?
Yeah, that
Okay.
and yeah, well, yeah. So the successfulness of your business, like you have to say like this is a growing industry and like this is what we'd have to do to make this money, and that's easy done.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to
I just didn't know you had to do it like I've actually been looking into how to make business plans for a bunch of other reasons, but one of the reasons is I really fell in with this guy. I'm sorry, he just kills me. There's something behind those eyes. Anyway, I've watched this movie so many fucking times. I can't even tell you. I really got obsessed with a documentary called Apex. It's about the guy that brought back the Cannonball Run in 2006, Alex Roy. I'm obsessed with the Cannonball Run. I'm on my third Cannonball Run book. Like I'm hard in the paint. But one of the things that Alex did was he made a business plan he wasn't getting people to invest, but he needed people to help. And so when they would show up, it was a fully because he owned a very successful business, so he did it exactly like a business plan. It was just to break the law a lot very quickly, but it was still, this is the budge and this is what we project and here's what we're trying and it was really well thought out. I was thinking, man, if I sort of take a little bit of an approach like that to these dumb things that I come up with, maybe I'll be a little more successful. Perfect planning produces what's it called? Piss poor planning produces piss poor results.
Surely the opposite must be true, right?
Let's hope.
Not necessarily. But yeah, I recently pitched an idea of opening a franchise coffee shop to a guy, but that didn't go. We did
Aw.
about 3 meetings, and yeah, it
Aw.
fell through. But we were talking about several $100,000 though, so
Yeah, it's
not
a big
surprised
deal.
really. Yeah,
Especially it being a brick and mortar, like,
yeah, just to
there's
build
a
out
lot
one
more.
shop was a lot of money.
It's a lot of equipment to make a coffee shop, more so than you think of what you can do with an oven versus what you can do with a cappuccino maker. You can make a
Right,
cappuccino, like that's about
right,
it. That's a
right.
lot. Gotta have good water.
Sure.
Thought he's a raw dog. There's a pile of Bud Light boxes and Corona boxes in the
Right,
back.
just a trash bag.
Yeah.
You know how mortified I'd be to like shoot a scene in front of a trash bag and a bunch of empty beer boxes?
Man, I see so many YouTube. Sometimes I'll check out YouTube videos that have less than 100 views. It's really
Okay.
messed with my algorithm for what it suggests. I recommend it to everyone. You find some interesting cockles of the internet, but there's a lot of people that don't take 5 seconds to like put away something in the back. They don't give a shit. And I respect those people to the nth degree. I wish I had that much confidence.
Right. I don't know. You gotta like this guy's bottle of White Rain behind him.
Like his lotion or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what White Rain is. Speaking,
know.
you know, speaking of
Is
business
it, is it
pictures,
hairspray?
there's no telling. I don't know why it's there. It seems like I don't know what you're doing in that corner. So speaking of business meetings, when we were in the middle of trying to make a feature length film, we were trying to raise money, and a friend of a friend hit us up to make a porno. We never made the porno. We just had a business meeting about potentially shooting and producing a porno. And they're like, we got the actors, we got the location. And they're like, we just need you to film it, edit it. And we were like, do we really want to do this? And at the time, me and the other person that were working on this stuff, we both had partners. So we went back to our partners and we're like, hey, this is crazy. We're not going to, they just asked us and we said we'd take the meeting to be polite. And they, both of them separately are like, are we going to do it? We're going to make some money? It fell through. Never happened.
No.
There's a timeline where I made a porno. It would have been some good money, man. A few grand, shit.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so we haven't discussed this yet. Coven is the name of the short film that he's making. So
Yeah.
So he's trying to make a full-length feature film called Northwestern, but to do that, he wanted to make a short film and sell it to different investors to then fund the big film. This is not too dissimilar from what we were trying to do. It's a great way to. That's what Robert Rodriguez was doing when he made El Mariachi. He made that movie for 20 grand, and he wanted to sell it to like one of these movie houses that like Troma or something that'll buy really, really like. I don't even know how to use that fucking thing he's got there. That's so beyond me. I think it's an Aeroflex. Anyway, he made that movie kind of slapdash, but he also made it so the first 30 minutes have the most action because he thought these picture houses watch a lot of tapes. So he's like, I'm going to get all the best shit in the beginning. So if they turn it off, they at least see the best part. And then it ended up being one of the best action movies ever made. Launched a whole damn career for him.
Oh, so,
yeah,
mission successful then.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if we missed it, but he's at least said the name of this it's spelled Coven. He calls it Coven.
Yeah. That's just the accent.
My old roommate convinced me that they pronounce bagels up here because he pronounces them bagel. I've met one other person that pronounces it bagel. I don't know what that is, but it's not Midwestern.
I don't know. There's an interesting accent that comes from somewhere up there,
like Fargo and Minnesota, stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know if it's like Quakers, the old Quaker accent that floats around.
So Dutch, like Amish and stuff. I know of places that do have that, but it's not as prevalent here. That's a little more east. You'll catch that, but you'll get some for sure. There's a lot of farmland, a lot of farmers and stuff, old school people. You'll learn very quickly there's a difference in Madison and Wisconsin. The first wedding that you're invited to, my God, there's a lot of fucking fields. Never felt more lost in my life than in the middle of Wisconsin.
Jeez.
Look at the fuzzy fedora that his grandfather's rocking. Look at this thing.
Right. That's just like a damn dice bag that's rolled up on the end.
Got a long coat. He's cool, man.
We're like learning how a business bank account works.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, so that's the idea is he's I'm not going to say conning. Con is short for convincing. He's convincing his grandfather to give him, and the interior's red on that car. Jesus, what? But here's the thing.
Velvety.
What's blowing my mind is this is way more professional already than anything I've ever attempted. Like, he went to a bank and signed papers.
Yeah. Did you catch how much money he got? I would love to know.
I want to say it was like 10 grand, something like that.
Well, for the year, that's probably a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, hell, here's the thing though. He's shooting this on film. I don't know the price, but I know that film is very expensive because you got to buy it, and then you got to pay to process it. And he edited at the college, so he didn't, because I assume he went to film school for a bit because he had access to some of the facilities at UW. I think it's UW.
Okay.
But he edited that on one of their like Steinbecks or something. But if you didn't have access to that, you'd have to pay to rent that board and like actually like cut the film and lay it, do the tape and hit the thing and spin it up. I can't imagine doing that. I actually found out a few weeks ago, because I was buying a laser disc, and Chad, the King of Clutch, asked me. He said, "Do you think they made a burnable laser disc?" And I was like, "I have to find out." So immediately I started Googling it. That's how digital video editing got started. George Lucas hated editing. He said it was boring and hard to do. And so he was like, "Can't we record to these laser discs and then do it digitally?" And they were like, and that's how we got digital editing, man.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I found one of those machines. They're real big. And it's the color of a hearing aid. I don't want to try and buy one. They're very expensive, and
right.
I don't know how to get them working. So,
I mean, they make phone apps that probably edit it digital that you'd have, easier than you'd have to go through that.
Absolutely, it's so crazy what's available to everyone today. Like there, you kind of don't have to pay for editing software anymore because there's so many free like online. It's enough to get you. It's as much as what he would do for any of his movies as far as editing special effects. More actually, because you're going to be able to do all your color correcting, and it's going to be a higher quality, higher definition. Colvin. Look at this guy. You got to have somebody rolling a joint on your clapboard before you shoot a shot, man. What's more fun than like taking a day with your buds and shooting something, man? Weirdly, it makes me think about Mystery Science Theater 3000 a lot, particularly the final, what is it? Final Sacrifice. That's the one with Zap Rousdower.
Oh my God. The costume department on these eye holes, man.
I can't see on this thing. Now look, we all agree that the bags was a good idea.
The neck. Like, yeah. Come on.
Menacing. But I would like to point out, he's laying his ass in the snow to shoot this shit. As annoying as those bags are, he's there for it, man. Wally Pfister, the guy that shot for Nolan for a long time, it's a really good shot in Batman Begins where Batman's sliding down a hill like a penguin. He's going to catch his Ra's al Ghul daddy. And to get that shot, Wally just got on a sled and slid with his fucking huge camera in his hands right next to Christian Bale. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. Like the filming of it's cooler than the shot itself.
This Christopher Nolan Batman's pretty good stuff.
I love him, man. The third one's kind of a mess, but I find it very watchable.
They don't do that anymore.
In the middle of his American Dream speech, he goes, "And thank God they pushed off my phone bill till Friday." What's more American than that?
Yeah.
How did we ever make fun of this man? He's beautiful. He's a rocket. It's a meteor shooting across the sky. We should all form a cult to this man.
What was that?
A newspaper. He delivers newspapers.
Oh,
This always reminds me of a story from when I was working at Blockbuster. I worked with this girl. It's a very nice girl, very nice dad, but her dad also delivered newspapers, and he did it like this with a car. And he got
yeah.
his ring, his wedding ring, caught in the mailbox, and he didn't know it, and he just drove away, and it just took his finger right off, like
Holy shit.
like a Lego, popped it right off. He didn't notice until he got to the next mailbox. And he was like, "Oh my god, I lost my finger," because he was going into shock.
Oh yeah.
That story has mortified me ever since then. I have always been curious, but not curious enough to Google or ask people about it because it's creepy. But I've always wondered what the tensile strength of the human body is.
I don't know, but I know like the titanium rings.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you if you get those things caught, that titanium will not give before your
No,
finger gives. And
absolutely.
like, yeah,
Let's see. Did we just get a spam bot? Oh man. I don't know I don't know if it's approved or if it's out there. You know what? Read it and decide for yourself. I kind of don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I'm so good at streaming. It's got a filter that'll stop people from saying like bad things, but it's real high, so like people can say really tame shit and it blocks them. I kind of like it. Oh. So yeah, he's got like 5 kids with this lady named Alyssa. Yeah. And he's dating Joan. That's her. It's Joan's on the team. Joan's a homie. I love Joan. Joan is a wind beneath his wings, at least for a time. I don't know how long that lasts. But on top of all the debt and the bills and the movie, he's also got like all these kids.
Gotta go to softball.
Jesse brought up something when we were talking over Avatar. That's a really nice trailer park, by the way.
It's really clean.
Very nice, yeah. I'd live there. Yeah. Shit, that looks nice. But Jesse was talking about the fact of like James Cameron taking so long to make Avatar. Like there's a lot of stuff he did that he waited for technology to catch up to what he needed. And she was bringing up like, how can you work on one project for like 4 years? Like, and that's what I had said, like, yeah, what is Christmas #2 of Avatar like? You still working on it, James? Yep, still working on it.
Still working on it, you know.
And that's where we are.
You think he has that uncle that's like, I'll finish that movie.
I imagine
was that too scrambly? You didn't quite understand what I said there for half a second.
But I have to imagine it's a lot. Somebody signed his shirt too.
I think he was like selling space on his shirt.
Maybe. I got something funny about that, but talking about what people say about people talking about Mark when he's not around, I would be curious about it too, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I've done and that people behind my back are saying the same thing. Like, here he fucking goes again. It's always some shit. He's always doing something, because that's how I would react to it. So I can't.
You're always doing some shit.
It's always some fucking bullshit he's peddling.
Oh, look at this. Look. They got this fucking AC unit taped up in the back here.
Oh, yeah. That's to keep the winter out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine going a winter in one of these trailers, man. That's got to be awful.
Kerosene heater.
If you don't have central, man, I don't, and also, but just the insulation. Maybe they make them different. But maybe they have like different code they have to sell to up here. Every house up here has to have a basement because to keep like pipes and stuff from freezing.
Oh, cool.
He's in Wisconsin. He wants beer or brandy.
Pretty sweet.
Phil, the producer. Poor guy. That's a sweet guy. I don't know if we've missed the explanation of why Mike is like Mike yet. But it has to do with acid.
I figured he was stoned for sure.
He's perma-stoned. Mike fried himself. The fact that he made it to 2022 is kind of remarkable. But I genuinely, if I had met Mike out in the wild, I'd hang out with him for a minute. It'd be a damn. He seems like a nice guy. And see, this guy I would cast for my good looking guy. You got to have like kind of a real celebrity, and then you need a good looking guy. That's
Right.
you got to have those two things. A good looking gal
Sure.
will work as well. But you got some sex appeal. Damn, Bill.
Supposed to be.
This. That's not what I thought when I first heard 2 years. This goes to show you that you can start a cult, everybody. You can rally people together for your cause.
You got a storyboard? Let's see it.
Those are actually, I'm
That looks
impressed
like an
with that.
IKEA instruction booklet. That's what that looks like.
Like he's throwing him through the door. This guy's so pissed.
Right, he shaved his mustache.
Well, it got too hot in the summer.
Oh yeah, I imagine he was dying in that thing.
Had to knock it right off. This scene right here. I have a theory about directors directing themselves in movies. I think they give themselves license to be a little more of an a-hole as their character. I noticed that a lot with like Favreau and Kevin Smith and a few other people that, you know, they'll direct and then they have to go be in a scene, and it's usually pretty like they're hamming it up. Tarantino usually takes probably the worst person in every one of his movies. and I think it's, in my opinion, I don't know if there's like a thing about it, but I feel like it's them saying, I'm not going to ask anybody else to do this. I'm going to do this. And so I'm going to show you how nuts you can be in this. Everybody's watching. I've been bossing everybody around for years at this point. Let me show them how I get in there and mix it up. Also, a lot of people that make movies are real. I mean, maybe I'm projecting about myself, but there's a little narcissism in there. There's a little, if I'm going to make this thing, I want to be in it, you know?
Sure. I mean, you know, Stephen King's in all kind of his movies, even, you know, it's other people making them, but, you know, it's his stuff. So he'll drop in and take like the smallest little role. He'll be like
some shopkeeper. He's like usually holding a broom or something. Yeah.
Right. Just like one scene.
Oh! I didn't even move. Oh, take two. It's still not breaking, Adrian.
Oh.
This man isn't related to him. This is not his friend. This man just volunteered.
Right. It's like one of the few guys. Oh my God, there's blood now.
A maniac.
What the hell?
You can actually, there's a fun thing. So if Mark had waited about 4 years, he would have saw a little movie called Shaun of the Dead. In Shaun of the Dead, there's a shot that's essentially this, but it's with this backyard shed door. And if you go frame by frame, you can actually see where it was just like 4 pieces just wedged together. So when Shaun like bursts through, it just like goes to cinders. I think they also do a little bit in the like making of about specifically that shot. But it's one you wouldn't even think about, but it's really incredibly well made.
That can't be right.
There's all his kids. That's his like real stage actor that like did some local theater.
Like Motley Crue.
Yeah, I know. Like he doesn't. It. Jeez, he's got American Eagle on his arm.
Right.
He's like a demigod to me. This guy is Mark Borchardt. He's a creature of mythology. He's not real. I got to talk to that man on a stage. It's fucking crazy. I went to see The Room a bunch of times at the Plaza in Atlanta, and I saw it one time when Tommy Wiseau came. I shook his tiny little squidgy hand. He's way smaller than you would think he is. Nobody asked him at the Q&A about The Room. They all asked him questions about his appearance, like, why are you wearing 2 belts? He was kind of furious by the end of it. I would just like to point that out, that at least when Mark made a good movie that everybody went to see, they were like, where did you do this? Or how did you process this? Or it was, just like perfunctory. It was like a science class. It was, I don't know. Not that I'm saying that Tommy Wiseau is by any means a yardstick with which we should measure something.
Sure. I'm sorry. I'm caught up in these practical effects that.
Oh man. We took a break on the full length feature to make another full length feature. I know it sounds like a bad idea, but we were going to make like a schlock, like direct to DVD, Crazies in the Woods kind of idea. And we had started working on the reason we picked that is because we were going to do a lot of like practical trap effects and things like that. Cause it's so much fun doing that stuff. That's a rite of passage as a filmmaker, is making special effects. We did get to make our own guts. We made really good fake blood and guts. I'm very proud of that.
Nice.
But we were getting into like, I was going to try and make like a bear trap you could step in that wouldn't hurt you and stuff. But even that, we were going to touch some of it up digitally at that point. That's how much ability we had. And this, he would have had none of that.
Right. Yeah.
Hell, in 95, when did Jurassic Park come out?
You want to know? Right there.
So what I talk about that movie a lot as being sort of like a pinnacle of special effects, because it still holds up, and it was so far ahead of what everybody else was doing. And
Jurassic Park is a classic for sure.
It was so collaborative, and it's wonderful. And the end result isn't a movie where you appreciate it because of how well it's made. You appreciate it because it's fun to watch it.
Yeah. It holds up though. I mean, like, talking about how well it's made. I mean, it holds up today.
Oh man.
You know, this shirt is like a 30th anniversary shirt.
Oh hell yeah.
And that's why it has the date on it instead of like, does it say Jurassic Park or anything?
It's important, but it also happens to be a great movie. Like that's the best thing about that movie. Oh yeah.
I remember hearing about
baby.
Like the T-Rex, you know, is this big robotic puppet. They had to have a guy in it, and sometimes the power would just go out, and the T-Rex would just collapse.
It would shake when it got wet. It would just go.
They were worried he was going to just break that guy in half, and he got stuck in it a couple of times, but you know, he was okay.
Well, it was foam. It would just fill with water when they would do those rain scenes, and it got heavy as shit.
Ugh.
And how is that much different than shoving a man's head through a cabinet? Really?
It looks different. I'll tell you that. It looks a lot different.
The end result's got a little more kick to it. Here we go. Kids, Nancy Reagan would be so proud.
I don't think I've ever won on a scratcher either, but you know.
I got a story for you about scratchers up here. So I got a buddy he's going through kind of a rough patch, but then he got some good news. I don't remember what the first thing was, but he had a girlfriend that was down in Iowa. He was driving from here to there. It's about an hour drive, and maybe a little bit longer. And he was trying to make it work because he didn't think he could get a job paying as much as what he was getting paid here. So he was trying to make the trip and everything, just running himself to death. And then he was thinking he was going to have to give up the job here finally. And he got some kind of good news. And then my boss called me in to say, hey, we want to promote, because he was on my team. We want to promote him. And I knew he was trying to get out of the leave. And so I would just lean back and I go, well, that's an interesting idea, because I wanted to see this play out. And I was like, oh, well, call him in. I'll leave and you can go. She calls him into the office, and he comes out and he comes straight to my desk, and he's like, "They just gave me a promotion." I go, "I know, you deserve it. Congratulations, man." I'm like, "This is awesome." And he said, he listed the other things that went well. And my mom, when like two things happen in a row that are good, or maybe she does it after a third thing. I think she does when two good things happen. She always goes, "Go buy a lottery ticket." It's just a turn of phrase.
That's the third thing.
Exactly. So I said, "Go get a lottery ticket." I didn't know this knob was going to go buy a $20 one, but he won $10,000. He was able to get engaged and have a wedding and pay off his like medical debt, and he's got to start his life
Nice
with one scratch of the coin.
With one scratch of the coin.
It was amazing. He came back. He did it over lunch break. He came back. He was like, "I need you to read this ticket for me and tell me if I." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm not going to wait till after work. Bring it here. Let me read it now. I'm not going to wait that long. I'm too impatient." And I read it. And I was like, "Dog, you got to go to the lottery office, dog."
Really?
Mike. I just noticed Mike's clear phone.
Oh, sweet. It is like 1996. Is there a T in that? Vodka?
Vodka. Yeah. That's some serious Scotty. That's up there, man. Vodka. So, okay.
It's like two whole like in vodka. Like there's a space in there.
It's funny, man. Okay, so culinary stuff, and drink stuff, beers, cocktails. Do you know what the big hubbub is about the cocktail of Wisconsin?
I do not.
It's an old fashioned, but they for some reason think it's supposed to have brandy in it.
All right.
They do not call it a brandy old fashioned. It's an old fashioned. So that means when I order an old fashioned, I have to go Maker's Old Fashioned Sweet, please.
Right.
Don't squeeze the fruit.
What is going on?
He's living with this dude almost as long as I've been making this movie. By the way, this is a real stat. He says "man" 151 times in this movie.
I think that's almost as many times as Gordon Ramsay said the F word on the Hot Ones episode he was on.
Oh my God, that one. Didn't he have like a whole bag of shit he was gonna try with that?
He did. He had all kind of he had like a lemon. He was licking.
Fucking eat the wing, Ramsay. God, I've had the last day. Eat it. It's just food. It's not gonna kill you.
I've been getting real curious about it. I've been thinking about buying it and trying it out.
So I have some friends that use it in nacho cheese, but they use like a pea-sized dot.
Right.
Like I imagine they use like a stick that's 20 feet long to touch it into the cheese. Like the bomb liquid in Die Hard 3. Like I tried a dot of it on a chip and I was miserable the rest of the day. But I think you should, just for the fuck of it. But I bet you could figure out something to do with it, because it does have some utility to it for what it's supposed to be. You just have to use very little of it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can dilute anything down.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not saying this is the script, by the way. He's not. But you remember the promo card for this week for this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to get it. I think it might be a little bit later, but Bill delivers that line. No, Mark delivers that line. I'm so sorry, but he's talking to Bill.
I think I had this shitty little alarm clock right here.
I really hope they don't have cigarettes in heaven. Just because in heaven would be it'd be like a mall in the 90s,
Yeah, it'd be a Waffle House.
Do you remember? Damn, man. Last time I was down in the South, we stopped in a Waffle House. That's some of the best eggs I've had in a long time. We were sitting near the guy that was cooking. I could smell the other people's. It was my mom. I could smell my mom's eggs. Like it was like buttery and just it smelled exactly like what you would want eggs to smell like. I turned. I was like,
they put pancake mix in their scrambled eggs to make them fluffy.
no, you're fucking with me. They do not.
That's what I hear. I don't know. I've never worked at a Waffle House, but that's what I hear.
I have to look into that. I love both of
Right.
those things.
All right. Everybody does, right?
We could. I turned. The guy could hear me. I was like, "Nice job on the eggs, man," because they were like the best I've. Not good for Waffle House. The best I think I've ever seen.
Nice.
Yeah. Most dangerous diner in the world. Waffle House.
Right. I don't go in the Waffle House much, but I don't eat like any kind of almost anywhere.
We can't eat at Waffle House anymore, man. That's way too much grease for us. We're way too old for that. Like, I need a break after I go to Waffle House. Waffle House used to be what we'd take a break from drinking to go to. I can't imagine drinking all night and then eating hash brown smothered, covered, dunked, chunked, dice sliced. There's no way. No
What the hell's
way.
going on now?
Bill's chilling, man. Well, he's helping him bathe and stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, good on him.
Yeah. He's still his grandpa. He's still taking care of him, you know.
Yeah, sure.
To be
There's
fair,
like a hole in the wall for a wall vent, and there's a hole in the floor for a floor vent. I don't think there's a register in either of them.
one of them's the return vent, and the other one's the blow. So it's just it's called recycling, Adrian.
You can't put your return right next to the crapper, man.
I didn't even think about that. Everybody's in the living room. Woo! That's way too many clothes to go in there, Mark.
That's why he's going to use a plunger or something.
That's way too many clothes in there. He's adding more.
Do you remember these washing machines, man? Like you could just open the lid and get in there in mid-cycle and stuff.
I do. And everything now, was like solid metal. You'd have one knob and you just pull it off and put it on the other things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right. But you could just climb right in there in the middle of the damn mid-cycle. And
yeah,
now like it'll lock before it even puts water in there. I'm like, come on, man, I gotta make another trip.
Mine is like 6 months old. I can't, even when it's done, sometimes I can't get in it. Like it'll finish, the alarm will go off, and all the gears will stop gearing, and I'll go and pull up and go, okay, you're not yet. Okay, I'll get my clothes later. You let me know when you're ready, you know? Story of my life. Electronics ruining everything.
Yeah, mine's about 6 months old too. It's the same way. Like you have to sit there and wait for it.
It's probably because somebody's kid fell in one.
Oh, that's absolutely what it is.
Well, I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know if this was your experience growing up in the South, but were you like there were some people in the 80s and 90s that were warned about lasers and quicksand, but I was taught about abandoned refrigerators. I was always warned to never get into an abandoned refrigerator.
Man, I feel like that was said to me at least once. like because the old refrigerators would shut and lock, and you couldn't get out of them because they were never meant to be open from the inside. So they would lock.
And it's Alabama, so they're just abandoned on the side of the road. Of course, our little asses were gonna climb into them. Yes. Yeah. How did so many of them get carried into the woods? Like really far into the woods.
Everything was just in the woods.
Jesus,
I don't know. I think back about that sometimes, and I'm like, oh, what transpired?
What was the story of this?
Right? Yeah. Jeez, like just two guys just dragging a fridge through the woods.
Man, I gotta get this fridge so far from the house. It smells so bad.
Right. I can't let anybody know I put this in the woods. You know, I never want to see this again. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. My God, I always wanted to make a mascot for abandoned fridge safety, like Louie the Lightning Bug for electricity, and they don't know about Louie the Lightning Bug up here because that's the Alabama Power thing.
Okay.
And then, but McGruff and Smokey and all the mascots for safety.
Yeah, they're federal.
Yeah, I want to make a abandoned refrigerator. It's like, don't climb inside of me.
don't know if it's quite the danger it used to be.
Nah.
Kind of like quicksand,
Well,
It didn't
now,
really.
yeah, if you're in an abandoned fridge now, you just connect to its Wi-Fi and then call somebody.
Oh yeah, sure. Turkey leg shrapnel, man.
It's lit. It's Thanksgiving. The game's on. The Packs are playing.
Wow.
America's team. Been a lot of hubbub about the Packers since I got up here because, Aaron Rodgers like lost his mind. Because when I got
Yeah.
here, he was football Jesus. There was a whole store devoted to Aaron Rodgers. I walked in, I was like, I think you guys need help up here. Like, you know how out football is in Alabama, but damn, they
Wait, has
love
this
Aaron
all been
Rodgers.
just one day? Wait.
Yeah, it's a vlog day.
That's the first one I've seen. I mean, one was like summer '96.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. He's rocking that bum equipment. I'm pretty sure I had that couch.
I was studying on that couch. I think we had that couch.
Oh my
I
God.
think,
It's comfy.
yeah, I think that was like the front room couch, the living room,
That
whatever.
room you don't go in?
The den had that couch with like the old water wheel, the old mill on it, and everybody had that one.
Like the
Yeah, we had
orange
this
and
couch.
the urban cowboy
Yeah,
couch.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, my parents definitely had. I imagine my parents' first trailer looked a lot like urban cowboy, like a lot. That I feel that so hard. I've forgotten about those couches. There
Oh,
was
they
a
were
whole cowboy scene on
everybody,
some of them.
right?
Oh, I love old shit. I'd love to find one of those, but I can smell it when I think about it. I can smell what an old couch smells like in my head.
Right. I feel like I can smell this whole room they're in. All these
That's-
Encyclopedia Britannicas over here.
well, that's a smell in and of itself. You ever heard of? I bring this up in a lot of D&D games. Mario Aoki.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon where when you smell the glue inside books, it makes you poop.
Oh, yeah, I've heard you mention this. Yeah,
Because we play D&D together and we find a
right.
lot of books. And so I go, does anybody have Mario Aoki? And everyone goes, what's that? And I go, well, and then I
Right.
explain it every time because everyone forgets immediately.
There it is.
Yeah. But I did every time I went into Books a Million in Oxford, Alabama, take the biggest dukers. For two reasons. One, I had to all of a sudden and didn't know why. And two, the bathroom was always really nice. It was huge. Like it was comfy. It was clean. It was a single person bathroom. You could just spread. You could do business in there. And I'd walk right in and go, I gotta go poo. Go right to the back of the store. Thank you, Books a Million.
Yeah, I don't I could probably actually tell you I could probably count on one hand the number of times that I've pooed in public. I just don't do it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Private poo.
I'm the other way.
Oh man, look at his hair. That's the look right there. That does happen. Sometimes you're doing these independent projects and it goes on so long you don't even look the same person anymore.
Right. I was looking at his Splice Here shirt. I'm sure that's got something to do with his film editing. It makes me think about that shirt you had with that record thing on it, that little adapter thing.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I rocked that shirt for a while. And then like a year later, everyone's like, everyone knows what that is, hipster. I thought it was cool.
Hipsters came along and ruined your shit.
I'm one of them. I can't deny being a hipster. I mean, hell, I just bought a Laserdisc player. I consider myself between turntables right now. I sold both of mine in the move because I don't have any room for them, and so I also I had those DJ ones, but I don't DJ anymore, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to use. So I want to get like a regular human record player, not a DJ record player, and then some good speakers because I still got my record collection. And it's like the most fun in the world. Like, you smoke a little, drink a little, and then pop on a record and then just go, cook or do something.
16 minutes later, you got to flip it.
Well, so I actually think a lot about what Tom Waits said when he did his VH1 Storytellers. He was like, when you were a kid, you could get these kits to build radios, and you wind the coils and wires yourself, and you put the crystals in there, and he's like, you felt
Yeah.
like you were a part of it. You felt like you made the music that was coming through it. And so then he said, I'm gonna play you a song I made when I was 9 years old. He just meant he's covering a song that played on the radio that he built when he was 9. But I like that a record keeps you tied to it. It's not just background stuff. You're interacting with your entertainment for the evening.
Sure.
The sound's fun. The sound's good. I do like a good warm analog sound. But I can, I'm fine with a shitty Bluetooth speaker, if I'm being honest with you. But
Yeah.
it's just the feel of it and the appreciation for it too. There's a sense of presence about it,
Yeah. I messaged you when I bought the wife one for our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Year before. And or maybe it was her birthday. I can't remember. But
It's
either
been a
way.
while. It was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, so I messaged you. I ended up getting a Sony one, and
Like
I got
Sony.
her a first press of like the original like Boston album, like the self-titled, the first
Whoa.
Boston album, just like one of her favorite bands.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
like it's still got the
There's a
dust
lot of.
cover, like
Mm-hmm.
the plastic. I mean, it's been open, but it's still got the plastic over the cover and
That's a
stuff.
good find.
And yeah, I mean, it sounds great. She just recently got me like a it's a 2 LP of Def Leppard's greatest hits.
Oh, let's
And
go.
they called it The Story So Far. I'm like, it's been like 50 years. What do you mean The
Well, I
Story
think
So
we know
Far?
the rest of the story, if we're being honest. I not got to be a
I
whole
mean,
lot of there. The
right, I
story so
saw them last
far.
summer. I'm like, you guys are getting old. Like, what do you mean The Story So Far? But they are still making
I
music.
love
They
that.
just put out an album just recently.
So okay, yeah, this happens a lot with. Okay, so Daft Punk broke up like a year or two ago. Why? They're not mad at each other. Just don't make
Right.
music for a while. You don't have to
Sure.
break up. Just don't make music for a while. See, they didn't break up. Like they just. I don't get it. It's unless you're Stevie Nicks and you're in a band with your ex-husband and you just can't damn get over it. Then maybe
Right.
fire your ex-husband, I guess, Stevie. When I heard about that too, I was like, are we really? We're really? We made it through a pandemic, guys. What do you care anymore?
Right.
I guess they just grinded each other's gears after.
The pandemic was just too much.
That was just a step too far.
It took a lot of people out. Well, or marriages. I mean, people, individual, obviously, but that's not what I meant. A
No,
lot of marriages didn't make it through.
that's very true. What we were talking about when we watched Barbie last week about that movie made a lot of people question their relationship. And that was just a damn Barbie movie. It's a great movie.
Well, yeah, I
But,
mean, I can see why,
Yeah.
Oh, I like that Scotties in the 90s were recycling. Like,
Dude, you have to. It's
Alabama, Alabama had not heard of recycling in the
no, it was like
90s.
witchcraft.
It was worse than witchcraft.
Well, let's talk about this on the low though. So like
Oh, gosh, all right.
everybody has 2 cans. Everybody has in their house and at their street 2 cans. You have your recycle and you have your trash. But like, do you know what all's recyclable? Like everything. The only thing that they've told me not to throw in there specifically is pizza boxes because it gets like all the grease and shit in it. Yeah. So everything else though is recyclable as long as you don't have a ton of food, even though I know you can do biodegradable stuff and things like that. But they put all of it together, like the glass and the plastic, everything. So there's either a guy sorting it or there's not a guy sorting it. So
I wonder about that.
yeah,
because that's how ours is.
Yeah, I don't know that that's being done the way that we think it is. I don't think they're telling us something, but it's okay.
Well,
So
see,
look,
where I live, we just got a new recycling company because it came known that the previous recycling company wasn't doing anything with the recycling. I think they were just incinerating it. And so now we have
it's
we're
recycling it
supposed
back to God.
yeah, it's just putting it, energy back into the atmosphere.
Holy shit. All right.
All
Okay.
right, but I'd cut you off.
Well, we're going to go ahead and pause. So I'm going to count down. We're going to do the same thing. The 3, 2, 1, go. And we'll pause on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Probably should have said pause. I stopped it at 1 hour and 31 seconds. We'll time it all back up here in a minute. Everybody get up, do a little bit of Sweating to the Oldies with Richard Simmons. Stretch it out a little bit. Don't run back. If we're not back in time, it's okay. Most accidents happen in your home. Be back in a moment, everybody. Doopy doopy doopy.
Oh, hey there, Adrian. How's it going? I'm Trent's Heavy Metal Alexa. How are you tonight?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Well, it's good to have you on the show. Say, since we're watching a documentary about making a movie, if you had to make a documentary, what would you make a documentary about?
Shoot, the only thing I know is running a food truck. So I guess it'd have to be that.
Oh, that would be
Starting and
awesome.
running a food truck.
Well, that would be really, really good this day and age. I feel like everyone loves the food truck now. That would be a really fun one to make.
Yeah,
If I had to make one, I think I would make a 7-part series about the real hero of the Cube franchise. That's right, the Cube itself. No one really talked about the Cube, the real hero of the story. I would call it Cube Cubed.
I think that's already a thing.
Well, that's all the time that I have. Now here comes Trent now. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Heavy Metal Alexa.
There's no time. We have to get going. This is a live show. We have no time to talk about what just happened right there. We have no time for anything else. You ready to start this movie back, buddy?
I am.
All right. Second verse, same as this first. 3, 2, 1, go. A food truck documentary would be dope. I would watch it.
Yeah. It's kind of a long story, but when I was on the Food Network, it was kind of supposed to be more about running and operating a food truck,
Mm-hmm.
and then they actually switched the show into a game show. But we had already filmed, so we had no idea. Like that was not the premise that was pitched to us. So like
Whoa.
our we filmed for 2 days, and
Mm-hmm.
it was all of this like talking about getting permits and setting up and
And they didn't use any of
all
that?
no.
What the
And
hell
like
happened with that footage?
it's just it's on the cutting room floor. But
Oh my God. I would have asked for it. I'd have been like, what are y'all doing with it? Can I have it? I ain't doing nothing with it.
I do have one really gnarly picture of I'm inside my food truck and there's a cameraman on the floor with this big camera.
You
He's
mean
on
more
the
Borchardt
floor.
style?
It's a bigger camera than that.
What? Oh, damn.
And there's this French guy named Sebastian. He was really cool. And I'm cutting
Oh.
like an entire ribeye loin. It's, I don't know how many pounds. It's huge,
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole side of it, and I'm just cutting it. And this dude is like right here in my trash can the whole time. But
Wow. That's like
there's
a
like
Breaking Bad shot.
yeah, he's here. Like there's a sound guy, there's a producer in the truck, there's another camera guy on the other end, and they've got like
Wow.
stationary cameras set up and like,
Just
you
crammed in
know,
everywhere you can get.
and then like I mean that first cut I made on that thing, my hand was just shaking. And
Oh, man.
uh
Yeah, I bet having to
man,
do something like that when someone's watching is also got to be, that sucks. Yeah. But it's cool that you
right.
did it. It blew my mind, man. You know
It
how many
was
people hit me up
it's a
that was like,
story.
they were just like, Adrian was on the Food Network. Like, what is he doing now? It was the craziest thing, man.
Just
Yeah.
running a food truck.
You have lots of fans. Let me put it to you that way. You have lots of fans. Look at
Look at
this.
this.
Look at this. This
This is
mausoleum.
amazing.
It's like
Look at
Phantasm.
look at this double vacuum.
I know. It's so antique and weird. I want to do a documentary just about that vacuum cleaner.
I saw a TikTok today of a guy running his lawnmower, and right beside the lawnmower, he had mounted a weed eater on the side. It was like cutting around the side of his fence, and he was just pushing them over, and it was cutting the side of the fence with a weed eater. And I was like, "This man is a genius."
That's he's my hero. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was recently talking to somebody about is redneck a derogatory term, and that makes me think about that because I don't think so. I think I'm being very general and I could be very wrong, so take this all with a grain of salt, but I feel like every boy has a little bit of redneck in them. Like I definitely have 15 to 20% of me, probably more.
Sure.
But it's, yeah, it can be derogatory, but mostly it's a celebration of ingenuity. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
what
Well,
redneckery is.
right. Well, I see a lot of these things that are like, I grew up poor, so that's how I know how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, is that what happened? as I'm like doing electrical work and stuff, and like working on generators that I don't know what I'm doing. I just gotta fix it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I grew up
Yeah.
poor. That's
No,
why I can do this.
he brought her flowers. Yeah, I talked to a bunch of people up here because it is the city, so there's a lot more city folk, and I've helped out people with like stuff on their cars and things, and it's like a buddy of mine didn't have a lot of cash, and so he needed to get his brake pads changed on. That's really expensive getting brake pads changed. It's like $1,000 if you want to get the whole car at most places. So I was like, just get like $8 pads and come by the house, and I'll show you how to change pads. Because that's what we all did. If you had a friend that knew how to do electrical work, he could install your speaker in the trunk. If you had a friend that knew how to do motor stuff, you could get them to help with those, and then you buy each, a 6-pack of beer, a pack of smokes, or just hang out with them. Like that's what we all had to help each other.
None of that wiring was done any kind of professional. Just splice it and tape it.
God no, God, it was a fire hazard. The amount of times that I killed my battery while I was at school because I left my amp on. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got really good at jumping off a car. That's for certain.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, football fans in Wisconsin could give Alabama football fans a run for their money. They're pretty serious about it.
Right. I've seen things about like their traditions and superstitions and stuff,
Oh yeah.
I gotta, or they gotta be sitting in their chair wearing their hat,
Because they're helping
like
them.
yeah, whatever it is, like the remote has to be in the same place it was last time they won a game or whatever.
Well, that's how they're going to win. If they're not going to win if you don't do that.
Right, yeah.
I just got this microphone arm and it's slowly sinking into my chest.
I was thinking about getting a boom arm. Mine's just sitting on the desk right here.
Yeah, I picked up some for when I was doing the Trintendo stuff with Nate when we did the Preacher podcast. I set up all the equipment in the kitchen because the pass through the bar was so far from the other side of the living room that it gave me a shallower depth of field. I had kind of a cheap lens on the camera, so I was trying to get some of that washed out background with that depth. But every kitchen in Madison is the smallest kitchens you've ever seen in your life. These houses, it was a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 3-level house with what do they call it when it's a kitchen that's a galley style kitchen?
Where it just dead ends?
Yes. Like it's just tiny little, our breakfast nook was bigger than our kitchen. And I would cram a camera and a monitor and 2 mic arms and 3 light things on poles. And I would just fill our kitchen, and me and Nate would stand there sweating and saying dumb stuff for an hour. And then I'd pack it all back up because it's our kitchen. It was insane, man. This is so much easier now. This is so unbelievably fast. It's incredible how much content you can create this way. And it kind of blows my mind because when I would make a 1-hour-long podcast, there would be about 20 minutes to set up, an hour to shoot it, and about 20 minutes to tear it down. And then I had to do a little bit of like just sort of final editing. And then a render time on that was like 8 hours. And then when that was done, you'd have to upload it. That took about 12 hours. And so by this point, I'm setting alarms to wake myself up. And then I go to work the next day. I come home on my lunch break to make sure the upload's still going, because if it's not, I got to start it over again. And then when I get home from work that day, it's done. I'm in bed by like 11.
Nice.
It's insane. I love it. Big shout out to Kinda Funny Games. Like, they put together an incredible studio, and they showed a lot of how they did it. And during pandemic, they did a bunch of videos on like how they do their streams. And I thought that was so cool because it showed it really taught a lot of people a lot of stuff. It's very helpful.
Yeah, I need to kind of get into some of that.
Okay.
You've kind of seen my setup, but I'm about to change it up a little bit. So
yeah, eventually you'll have it too where you'll know what your setup's gonna be, so you can lock some stuff down, especially if you're gonna get to keep that space all to yourself, right?
Yeah, unless I just decide differently. Surge. Sorry.
That's a time, baby. It was a time and we lived it.
Right.
But did you try it when it came back, Surge?
Yeah. I bought a flat of it.
It didn't taste the same to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine eventually, I didn't drink it all. It eventually expired.
This is it.
Forgot my line.
This is what it sounded like when I would do those stupid intros I couldn't get through.
You can tell he believes it.
This is it. Oh, I thought he was going to say it there.
What's with the tarp?
That's for covering stuff up.
Stains and holes and such.
Bill.
Damn it, Mike, do something.
Mike is doing something. It's called the Fun Police. Listen. Oh, it's not it. I keep missing it. It's such a great line. Bill's like, I hope I die now.
Just right here on this tarp. Line.
Like $1 million line right there. Your teeth clack a bit when they get loose in the mouth. I've studied this like the Zapruder film. Ah, didn't Mark mess it up? Do you know how many podcasts I've recorded that it wasn't recorded? About 10. It's a bummer. It's a real fucking bummer.
Yeah, I don't know that we talked in length, but like I filmed a second episode and lost so much footage, and I wasn't even in frame. Like you said, it's called Board and Beard. So I try to be from here down, and then the rest is cutting board.
Mhm.
And like my beard wasn't even in the shot for like a lot of it, and I was like, okay, well I can maybe just do it without beard this episode. Just board, just board.
board.
Like we'll catch beard if it decides to come in later, but.
You should get you should see if you can get like, I know people do custom work on cutting boards. Get one that's got like the ampersand. So then you got the and board, like it's your and board.
It's an and board.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that does some woodwork. I might hit him up.
Be pretty easy, or like laser it or whatever's easy, whatever's clever. But anyway, it's a rite of passage, and my heart breaks, but I also want to say welcome, because it is a brotherhood. it is a fraternity of like, try to do the same joke with somebody a second time and you can hear people's hearts breaking and the dead behind their voice. Oh, it's so funny. One of the first podcasts we ever did on Breaking Bad, we're like, hey, so we're behind the cutting edge. So this is the second time we're doing this.
Just so you know.
We're so bummed. We're so sad and defeated. Oh, I live for that, man. Mike.
What?
Let's fucking go, Mike.
What?
He was going to drop the other 3 hits in the hospital.
Oh, I heard what he said.
Well, that's the place to do it.
Well, sure.
Ah, what a narc.
Now it's in the water system. Bag of Funyuns in the trash there.
Just notice what his shirt says. Not the Zep shirt, but the
right, which is pretty sweet.
That is a sweet shirt. What's the matter, little man? Don't like Zip? I wish he would have just set the camera up and said, Mike, go.
Right, just a whole different documentary.
Especially since he's passed away now. You know, Bill,
Right.
the guy that got me started in podcasting, he started
The
doing
Life
something.
of Mike.
Yeah, life. Yes. Well, so Bill started doing this thing where he took his camera, his camcorder, and when they would have like family reunions or birthdays or Christmas or something, he would pull a family member to the side and just set up the camera and ask them questions like, "When was the first time you remember understanding the concept of time?" Like he asked them questions about their childhood, and he got these amazing stories. And it occurred to me a few weeks ago at the end of all this, wherever the sidewalk ends for the talkover, I'm gonna download every single one of these episodes so I have them, and I have amazing conversations with my friends over movies. And I don't know what that's worth, but it's an infinitesimal amount of money. It's kind of incredible what you can put together just turning on a camera with your friends.
Yeah.
Hmm. I made some brownies, but probably don't let your mom have the brownies. Or do. Oh, let's go, Mike.
That's probably like $500 today.
It's true. Oh, don't tell Mark that, Mike.
There's $15 floating around somewhere.
That's his boot money. He's got that in his sock.
Right.
They do. So, what's his name? Lewis Black said that they drink like they want to die here. And I agree. Like, I had been up here for about a year and I came down to visit and we had sort of a get together at my folks' house. And I picked up a bottle of like Chivas Regal. And I was just drinking it. Like I would just pour a glass and I put a little bit of ice. But like at this point, I had realized that mixers were making my tummy hurt because I was funneling all this other garbage along with the alcohol. So I was like, well, fuck that. Instead of quitting drinking, I'm just going to drink only the alcohol. And so it never registered to me, but I literally had a friend go, "Are you okay?" Because I was just drinking it like you would water. And I'm like, I didn't even notice I did it. I was like, oh, I should have got 2 bottles. And like, Trent, that's not the message. But it's in every Mark's lit. Mark's got a little under his.
None of that conversation.
Jeez, man. Oh man. Oh, Scotty Holiday. That's Mark. But it's a lot of drinking, heavy drinking town.
It's cold. So.
It's a lot of, yeah, it's well, part of it too is they're very protective.
We're in a bathroom. We're in a public restroom.
Hey, Snoop Dogg says it's the best place to get acoustics. Not a public one. What if you went to go take a leak in like a rest stop and there's Mark and his friends and kids?
Right.
There was a scene earlier and I didn't comment on it, but he brought them with him to the campus to sleep in the editing bay. That might be the only part of what he's done I will take him to task for. You don't have to spend the night. People tell stories about sleeping in the editing bay because they kept going until they fell asleep. Nobody brought like bedding and pillows and planned to sleep in the editing bay.
Sure.
He could have gone home and he should have. He had kids with him. I get it. Make the movie, but like you got an extra day, bud.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, if you got a bunch of little kids or whatever.
A national
done,
treasure.
Mike.
Fucking Mike. Yeah, it was wicked, man.
All right.
Who knew that Mike could do that?
All right. Just out of nowhere.
Oh, what a treasure.
Oh, look at this guy.
Look at this guy, right?
It's like a low budget Sean Connery.
Ooh. Midwest Sean Connery. Tyler Connery. Well, you have 6 coats on. How are you still cold? Act like you've been here before. Jesus. Ooh, even Mark is dressed up. Well, he is. I guess they're meeting with a real photographer. Maybe he wanted to.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Billy Crystal's uncredited in this. Oh.
I was wondering if we were gonna get like back to a film, you know?
That's how it
We've
goes,
been drugged
man.
through like these holidays and all this stuff, this
3 years
journey of his
bullshit.
life. And like now we're finally back. This is supposed to be in the dead of winter, is what I understood from the beginning. But now we're just out in the spring, dragging people through the mud.
Man, we tried to do
Continuity.
so.
Also, the army has made the same shirt for like 50 years.
Hey, if it works, man, don't mess with success.
Still gray PT shirt.
Forgot what I was gonna say. Probably it was bullshit. Doesn't matter. Yeah, dragging somebody through the mud and stuff is like you can tell who's read Bruce Campbell's book. You know, you can tell who studied the. And I did, and that's what Sam Raimi would do, is he would torture his actors. He's been very vocal about beating the shit out of his main actors, and he's made a whole career out of it. Yeah. Shit, he has a new movie coming out, and it's called like Boy Kills Something. Like, God, the trailer just popped up. It's insane. At first I was like, I hate this, but then like a minute in, I'm like, I kind of love this. Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
Raimi might be back, man. I mean, the last what was the one he did, the MCU movie, the Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness?
I was like, it was yeah.
It kind of looked like Spider-Man 3 in parts, but it was still very enjoyable. It's Sam, you know.
Yeah, I remember him and his something brother. That was like not expected.
Yeah, he directed something else that was kind of out. Yeah, what was that? I
don't know. I mean, I was thinking about the MCU movie for sure, because I was like, oh, Sam Raimi did the multiverse. Okay.
Yeah, I need that Goodyear hat.
They're behind you.
Look how tall Mark is. Shower has fed his face. He's a very tall man.
You know, like Stranger Things is like set in the 80s too. And of course, this is 96, 97 now, but
it is in the middle of Wisconsin, which is kind of like Alabama in the 90s. It was in the 80s.
Right. Yeah. So, oh my God, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of the actor that plays Hopper.
Oh, but he's David Harbour.
David Harbour. So he's so tall that the shower head comes up to like his chest on him. You're just like, how do you wash your hair in here? You know,
crunch down uncomfortably and sad. At least a part of your body's going to touch
5'8".
Like you're going to touch the wall with your naked belly and go ooh.
Just every time.
Ooh.
That weird little soap tray that they put in the old showers.
Use it for like a little seat, little stool. My shower is like a stand-up single person shower, and they put sliding doors on it, but the sliding doors are wider than the halfway point because they're not made for a smaller shower. They're made for a bigger shower, and I'm a bigger guy. Apparently they made it as wide as I am, because I would go through and it would scrape across my belly. And it would just send goosebumps up my spine, and I was like, this has to go. I can't live like this. So I chucked him out in a closet and grabbed a shower curtain. Oh, it was just unpleasant. 2 more mans back to back.
Well, here we go.
So this is this is kind of how they would cut film that wasn't on like a Steinbeck or something. This is like what you would do in final, like when it gets to the movie theater. So this is like even more primitive what he's doing here. That's hard, tedious work. And Mike's doing it.
And like you edit this physical film and then you have to like put this audio back to it, this audio that you recorded for it, which I mean, the way we do this, well, this is live, so it's all kind of together.
Mm-hmm.
But you're used to editing audio separate from video and making it work. But can you imagine like this physical film and like audio tape and having to sync it up to make a movie that where it doesn't they're not talking and it's off sync and stuff?
So
Because that's annoying. I know you've seen some of those movies and you're just like, I can't watch this.
Robert Rodriguez talked about, and this was like a more recent interview. This wasn't in his book, but he also too, so he was recording audio separately, and how he did it was he'd have his like 16 mil camera and he would film the shot, and then he would set it down and pick up the boom pole and hit record. And then he would keep the actors in the same place and try to do the scene again. And so he knew as the shot would go on longer and longer, the lips would get rubbery and it would get out of sync because you can't do the same exact way over and over. So what he would do is just cut over to a chair or cut over to a dog or cut over. So editing is about problem solving and hiding your crimes. And that's kind of what I love about it. When I started doing like some of the shorts are way crazier edited than they seem. And I've had to pull off some really weird esoteric tricks to get everything into 60 seconds. And so I just noticed he's got a Merle shirt, but that's kind of what sucks about editing is it's usually like 2 a.m. and you've just pulled off the impossible. You just took footage that is unusable and made it usable through editing. And you want to turn around and give somebody a high five, but nobody's here because everybody else is sane and in bed and living happy, fulfilling lives while you're miserably here trying to make this thing. That's the beauty of editing.
So my one episode that I've got up, I probably filmed that for like 6-8 hours, right? I took that 6 or 8 hours of footage and I broke it down to like 38 minutes. And you saw that 38 minutes. All right. And I intended to use that 38 minutes. When I got to doing my voiceover, I had about 13 minutes of audio. And
it's amazing how fast you can talk, right?
For sure. And you're like, I'm trying to fill it in and stuff, and it's just not working. So the video became as long as the audio, and I just made it work.
There you go.
Because like I had been editing it all day. I was leaving for vacation at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was going to drive for 11 hours.
Oh my God.
And so I sat right here where I am now and edited I'd already edited that 8 hours into 38 minutes. And then I'd done my voiceover and I came back, and it took me I swear it was 12 hours of me sitting right here and editing that 38 minutes and making it fit that audio.
Yep.
And I was breaking the audio down. I'd recorded the audio, but then I had to break the audio down into into scene sections and put it all together and then make the video fit it. And I was like learning how to use the software as I was doing that. And I sat right here for 12 hours and did it, uploaded it, packed a suitcase. Yeah, like I think I tried to sleep like 2 or 3 hours. It just didn't, you know?
Yeah. I've always, that's kind of why editing sort of appealed to me. I never intended to edit when we were doing Crazy Tape 3, the one that you're in parts of, the reason I switched to 8mm is because a friend of mine said he could edit. And so the plan was just to shoot a bunch of stuff, and then I was going to learn how to edit to make that. But then that same person many years later was like, I'm making a full-length film. And so to get sort of some, and that, like, I can't even skateboard a foot, and Mike was a god. Okay. So I know.
He was borrowing that skateboard.
I know. He's like, look what I can do, circle.
Right. He was like, let me see that.
I would have broken my neck. Okay, so we stopped working on the big production to make a short film for a contest, so we can get a little attention to our website and just get some practice. And if we won, we would have got like some equipment and stuff. It would have been really nice. But it was also just what's the point in having all this equipment if you don't stop and make a quick film because you feel like it? And so after we got finished, I thought it would be funny to make a behind the scenes of this 5-minute film. And so the director was like,
it was 30 minutes long.
It was 20 minutes long. It absolutely is. He's like, you can edit this and I'll show you how to edit. I'm not fucking with this. I'm like, I got it. I'm excited. And that's what he set me down. He showed me how to cut. He showed me how to like remove the track. He showed me like, it was like a 5-minute crash course. Yeah. And that was it. I everything from there has been stuff I've learned by accident or asking, or I watch a lot of editing YouTube channels. There's another one there's a guy named Trent that goes Trent Tutorials, and it's all on editing. They're really good. He's a great editor. I love his channel. I was like instantly subscribe. I've done several techniques in shorts that he taught me. It's
check that out.
Yeah, Trent Tutorials, can't recommend it enough. Love the man. But yeah, well, Kevin Smith says, so Kevin loves writing, but he says that editing is his new like second favorite thing to do because it's like another draft of the movie. Editing has the most power of anything in film production. It can change what it's about, what the focus is. And a lot of people talked about that with TV shows like what's it called? Jersey Shore and Real World. Like they're like, oh, they edited that to look like it was more dramatic, because you can do that with editing. You can make somebody look like an asshole. You make somebody look awesome. You can remove whole ass people from a movie.
I mean, I just told you that, I was on a TV show and they changed the premise after they filmed it. So they just edited it to fit the new premise.
I can't believe you shot like a lot, all that stuff. And that's a lot.
And they basically just used like the cooking stuff and took out all the, all the stuff about like how to start up your own food truck and kind of the trials and tribulations. Of,
I would have been interested in that. That sounds like a great show.
Yeah. And like, well, so the whole thing was that Andrew Zimmern owned a food truck at one time and he decided it was such a headache. He just kind of started leasing it to people that wanted to try it.
Ooh, that's a great
idea.
So
he wanted to, people would do whole businesses like that. But so he wanted to kind of cover, like I said, the trials and tribulations of that industry. And so that's where it started. But I guess that wasn't selling. So they changed it about 3 or 4 episodes after they filmed about 4 episodes, they changed it. And they sent us like an email or something like that and told us like, we need you. So they sent us they FedExed us this envelope of fake money. And they were like, we need you to put this like in your tip jar out your window and then record on your phone.
That's so weird.
Like a clip for the show.
Whoa.
And they just edited it in.
That fake money is expensive. There's a whole industry around legal fake money for movies. Yeah, it's very serious because it looks so real.
Yeah.
They talked about that making Breaking Bad, that it was like a real pain in the ass getting that much fake money, because it's like it's as secure as real money when you think about it, because it might, in the wrong hands it kind of is.
I mean, if somebody wasn't paying a lot of
put this in your tip jar. Wow.
So like, we filmed it on a phone, right? We didn't have anything. Like it was after a shift. We took our menu board. It's like a sandwich board. Took the menu board, set it out in a parking lot, set the phone on top of it, and just backed up and did it.
Mark Borchardt style. Hey, close your mouth, because when your teeth get loose, they clack in the mouth. Just do what it takes. Get the shot. I've done shot. I shot the intro to a science fiction short film by hanging out of the back of a PT Cruiser with the back open in front of a motorcycle following us. That's probably the most hectic, dumbass filming thing I've done. I can't think of anything more stupid and dangerous than that one. Also, the camera was like there was definitely a moment of, if you're about to fall, throw the camera into the car. Take the hit for the team. And I agreed, because I can heal.
Sure.
We can't heal back like $5,000. This thing was fucking expensive.
Damn.
What's funny is that
there was
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a little bit of that going on in the Food Network. They had this like, I don't know where they got it. They had this like shitty maroon Dodge Caravan,
Mm-hmm.
and I have no idea because they were traveling the country, so I don't know if they were just like film crew was riding around in it.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were driving our food truck like through downtown, and they were in this Dodge Caravan with the door ripped open, the camera guy just hanging out, like just filming us like doing some driving, and they had this wicked camera with these suction cups that like mounted to the hood or something, and they're like it's not going anywhere, don't worry about it. And
Have you
like
seen the ones on poles they have now for cars? You can put it on your rear window, and so it sits at an angle, and the software that's made for the camera will erase the pole. And they used this tech in the Gran Turismo movie that just like came out last year. It's like the freakiest thing ever because any movement is tied to the car, not anything else. And then there's so much like stabilization in cameras these days. It's just an impossible looking shot. It's freaky. It's like a uncanny valley feel to it. I want that so much. And I would never make a chase scene. I would just drive up the road and be like, look at this. And everyone would be like, stop, Trent. You've gone too far. Bill's here for the premiere, baby. By the way, this theater is the last independent theater in Milwaukee, and that's all the facts I have on American Movie.
Nice.
Yeah. And look how Mark's dressed, man. It's Coven, dude. Come on, man. We talked about this. He's showing it, man.
Right, we made it.
Listen to this.
It's the power of editing right there.
Dude. Coven.
Oven. Not to be confused with oven at all.
Or Coven. The man, the myth.
All right.
These are great. This is great shots, man.
That's cool right there.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say when he's dragging through the woods. We tried to shoot a fight scene when we first got our big camera because we just had never done one. And we're like, surely we could just figure this out. We just thought all the people that made The Matrix and all the Kung Fu movies and the diet, we just thought these guys just made shit up. So we just made shit up. And yeah, Bill. So we choreographed it and wrote it out, and then we practiced it with the actors. We didn't do anything that was going to get anybody hurt. We were trying to be we were more about just practicing the shooting of it. We didn't care about the actual in there. It took so long. It was dark by the end of it. So in a 30-second movie, it goes from broad ass daylight to pitch dark with like work lights on them. It's like a magic trick.
That's kind of sweet though. Like when you talk about like
funny.
Kung Fu fights, that's very Dragon Ball Z or something.
We were very embarrassed by watching it back. We were just looking at it at the computer when we were editing it. Like, this looks like fuck.
Yeah. Like I don't think you can see it, but like mine, it definitely got dark outside on me. Like I said, after about 6 or 8 hours, I'm like, I wonder if the lighting in here is different.
You learn a lot, man. You learn a lot about lighting and how lights and mics and cameras, man.
I tell you what, I've already I've already bought a second set of lights and and a second set of cameras. So
you're so early on. Like you're going to learn and you're doing it the right way by doing it. You're going to learn. It's going to be invaluable, and you're just going to build on it. Or one day it just pisses you off and you're like, you know what? I would rather lead a happy life. I quit. And that's, I've definitely done that many times. So you
never know.
But you might also come back to it. But either way, it just builds on the foundation.
How many mans are we up to?
Yeah. We're getting close to the end here. He's just walking away from the spotlight.
Right. So I gotta get out of here.
Don't you know?
They're gonna start charging me extra if I'm here another 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I have it in my head that I want to do this live one day. I have plans. I have thoughts. Yeah, Mike. I love Mike.
Look at this fucking peacock in the background. What's going on here? It's just a peacock.
They're at the zoo.
Oh, okay.
I also was about to say that I saw the guardrail. I was about to say I don't know where there's just wild peacocks in Wisconsin. It's I can't do the joke now. I've waited too long. What's the guys that? Who's the guy that ran Playboy Man? The Playboy who ran He had a lot of peacocks because I know he's a gross man, but he said that he thought it was interesting that the bird world was different than the other like animal kingdoms because the dudes were the pretty ones and they had the plumage and they like you peacock. It's usually the boys that had the big ones versus most other animal kingdoms outside the birds. It's the other way around. Like what?
Birds and reptiles.
Oh, is that do the boys look like have like pretty stuff to them or?
Yeah, I believe they're always the ones that are like putting on the shows and stuff with like the big, they'll have like, I don't know, these little inflation sacks or whatever it is they have, or big colored spawns or whatever.
We are insufferable guys. Like we'll really just fucking be like, look at us. I have so many friends that are female where I'm like, you don't do any of the stuff that what's it like not needing validation? What's that like? Because I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I've been married about 8 years now. So,
oh my God, that's right. Shit.
Yeah. So, I'm I just kind of live my life just normal.
LIVI.
It's a lot of help. You think this man gets his money back?
No, I think he died like very shortly after this.
Yeah, I think it was like
a year or two later.
Day.
No, I do think it was like a year or two later. I also don't think he ever really. There it is. I don't think that he wanted his money back. I think that he. Yeah. See, I think that Mark was more. Okay, I understand he was sort of. It wasn't sort of. He was talking his grandfather into they got fucking donkeys. They're so cool. Anyway, he did talk his grandfather into giving him
Duncan, man.
Dude, donkeys rules. I love fucking donkeys.
I mean, you're in Wisconsin. I can't come on here talking trash about.
We don't have Krispy Kreme, so like you got a one up on me on that. There's no replacing Krispy Kreme. Dunkin' ain't got shit. Where I live,
we've got a Krispy Kreme with a Dunkin' right across the street.
Oh fuck! Why are you going across the road?
And then there's a Starbucks, and then there's a Starbucks just down from that. So they're all three coffee and donuts just right there.
Nah, Crispy's what's up. When the hot now sign's on, let's go.
Oh yeah, man.
You ever take Krispy Kremes and like after you're done grilling out, as the coals are dying down, toss some donuts on the grill?
No, I've never grilled a donut. I got a buddy that runs a food truck, and he takes Krispy Kremes and he runs like a burger truck. And he takes Krispy Kremes, smashes them down, and makes it's not Krispy Kremes, it's honey buns. He puts burgers between two honey buns.
There's a place that does that in New York where you can ask them to do it something style. It's the name of they're huge on TikTok, I've heard, but you can pick anything from their bodega and they'll incorporate it into your sandwich. But one of their special ways is a honey bun sliced and then the shit's in between it, and people go nuts for it.
This is two honey buns.
Oh,
we're not slicing a honey bun.
I don't want.
And then those like like individually wrapped honey buns, like
just a little Debbie or whatever.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Well, that was it. That was American Movie. Adrian, what did you think about it?
Wow. What did I think about it?
Yeah,
I think, like we said, the magic of editing really shows in that, because like you're watching, you're looking at these guys and you're like, I don't know, man. And then when like in the editing, it comes through and you're like, okay, that looks kind of sick.
Absolutely. We used to talk about, because there's a lot of things he said that's kind of dumb. Like he said, like we have every F stop in the film, and that doesn't really make any sense. His daughter at one point in time is like, what's ADR? And he says It's like after something something, and that's not what it stands for either, but it's like a common misconception. There's a lot of doofy shit that he did, but it's the same kind of doofy stuff you do when your heart's bigger than your head. $1 million heart, nickel head. But he had a pretty good head for it. Like, he had the knowledge. It's just putting it on to film. And that's the other thing too, is I don't know where I got the balls to say that I was anywhere remotely better than him, because he didn't get take after take after take. Like we did. I never rocked film. I was always like, the closest thing to analog was VHS for me. And I did edit on that, but like, you got to how much was a recordable tape? Like $2? So like,
not expensive. Yeah.
We could just do it over and over. And now it's the same way too. I just generate tons and tons and tons of footage, and it's nothing. Whereas that was a big damn deal.
Oh yeah, you only had so much film with you for the day, and like that, you got the film in the can, and like, and he couldn't even pay for pop a new memory card in it, or just record over it, or whatever,
or send it to the cloud. That's the other thing too. It's crazy what you can do now, and he still put that out, and yet he didn't stop. And you fast forward all this time, and he made, like, I highly recommend anybody go check out the Dundee Project. It might be on YouTube because it's a short doc. That's one of the things I like to go to at the Wisconsin Film Fest, are local made movies, short docs, and then short, like, they'll do like a run of a bunch of shorts together. It's not as good as some of the other film fests. It's a little detached from itself, but there's a lot of stuff that comes. It's a metric fuck ton of movies you get to see that I otherwise wouldn't get to. And so I try to do the locals and see, like, student filmmakers and stuff, and watching the 10-foot tall Mark Borchardt step out onto the stage of the Barrymore was the weirdest moment of my life. And I was just like, you know what, man, you fucking did it, dude. I hope he's still going. I hope he's still doing it. I hope nothing bad happened to him. Mark, if you happen to catch this, man, I'm sorry I ever made fun of you. You're 1,000% a better filmmaker than I will ever be, and I hope to see your next project. I'll talk about it on the TalkOver if you do it. I say the same thing to you, Adrian. I'm very proud of the stuff that you've done. I'm very excited to see the things that are coming out, in the future that you got in the works, and I think it's going to be super stinking dope. I said it in the video that 43 of you watched. Thank you all, 43 of you. We got to do more in 2024. So go out there and take that ball of fire that's in your heart and turn it into a video and put it on YouTube. I don't know. Make soap that looks like hands.
You absolutely can.
Everybody can. There's nothing unattainable out there. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you so much for enjoying this. Go check out everything over on YouTube. Give us a like and a comment. I'm going to put this up right after it. Follow us on Facebook so you know when these are coming up. Yeah, we talked over it.